Well, here we are. It's the 8th issue of Daphne's diary for 2023, and it's really hard to believe that the year has gone by so quickly. But I don't know if you're like me, but I sometimes pick up a magazine and I kind of flip through from the back to the front. So I'm not going to start at the front immediately. I'm just going to go a few pages in to this spread. And as I opened it, I looked at this picture here and I thought to myself, gosh, that view just looks like the coast along the Wilderness, which is a really beautiful area of Cape Province in South Africa. And lo and behold, when I turned to the next page over here, this was all about a South African Christmas. So I'll get to that in a minute, but let's start at the very beginning. So this is the cover of Daphne's diary for this issue, and we've always got beautiful strong cardboard that this is printed on, and lovely designs, so you could use these for journal covers. Apart from just as craft work, they're lovely for labels as well and tags. Then the inside cover gives you plenty of scope, lots of things that you could fussy cut out, little birds and Christmas baubles. So I'm just trying to see if I'm in frame. That's better. Christmas baubles and things. And this index page has lots and lots of little vignettes, which I would definitely use something like that. Some of these little Christmas scenes here, lovely for stamps, apart from all these little sort of Christmas images. And I love the leaves and the candy canes and things which are scattered out throughout, the mistletoes, the hollies. Okay, so this is the South African Christmas. So let me just tell you a little bit about Christmas in South Africa. It has been known to snow on Table Mountain on Christmas Day, and that was when I was a child still at school. I remember sitting at my grand's house, which was at the foothill of the mountain, and we were all so cold eating Christmas dinner. But generally speaking, it is really, really hot on Christmas Day. Sort of anything up to 30 degrees. And if I ever went up to my mum's, which was an hour and a half out of the city, it could be up to 40 degrees. So Christmas in South Africa is really different. We do celebrate. We do have, the traditional fare, and we certainly put up stockings and Christmas trees and things like that. But quite often the food is served cold, or we have what you guys call a barbecue, but we call a brine. The difference being is that it's cooked on an open flamed fire rather than a gas barbecue. So quite often that will be the case for Christmas. Make a special meal out of a barbecue because you want to sit outside. You're just way too hot to do anything else. So what they've done in this lovely sort of display here is just use very, very natural and neutral tones. And with some of the foliage that they've used to make the sprays of flowers, they actually don't look like this in real life. This is a pelargonium, and they must have sprayed some kind of frosting spray over it just to make it look a little bit more as if it's been in the snow. These are some of the wild flowers that grow on the mountains called fynbos. Some of them are indigenous specifically to the Western Cape, which is a really very, very interesting, some incredible plant life there, which people travel from all over the world to study. So lovely simple ideas of just twigs and things hanging down for a Christmas tree. This is obviously a beach house, a holiday home, so they're obviously not going to have as much as if they would if it was their primary residence. But I had a friend who had a house further up on the mountains here and just had this lovely sort of open sliding doors and looking out to the ocean. We used to have lovely times there. Then there's lovely, lovely articles on different things that you could use for food and different ways to celebrate Christmas, some ideas from all around the world, and always look at these lovely patterned backgrounds that you could use for various ephemera that you're going to be making. So don't look at the magazine as just a Christmas thing. Try with your mind's eye to separate things, and so you could take those out as separate images. You could fussy cut some of these drawings, and these interesting textured backgrounds would be lovely for ephemera. So you need to look at it with different eyes. Lovely floral backgrounds here. I do like that. Little snippets of pebbles. I remember going to a beach in the UK, but long, long ago. I think maybe it was Brighton. I can't be sure. So if you're from Brighton, I'm wrong, forgive me. But I remember looking at the stones on the beach and just thinking how beautiful they were, and I wish I could take them home. They were wonderful colors, especially when the water had just washed up on them. This page has got lovely snowflakes on it, which would be lovely as a background, quite large areas. And then you've got that lovely little vignette of the girl looking out the window. You've got very firm cardboard for the next couple of pages. On the other side is a little postcard which you could cut out, or if you wanted to, you could use these perhaps as journal covers. Maybe if you did a fold here, you could have it. It just depends how you want to use it, but certainly there's very, very nice sturdy card here for you to use. Lovely natural fragrance from pine. They give you ideas for making bouquets on the doors to hang, just for a nice sort of festive feel. Pine needle incense sticks, lovely when you're starting a fire. And the other thing that's really nice when you start a fire is if you just toss in some orange peel, that gives a nice fragrance. And making your own pine cleaning spray, and pine is really a very good sort of disinfectant, and it really smells delicious. Lovely old sort of sweet shop labels and things, little tins here which you could use with ephemera. You've got your lovely images, your old-fashioned sort of looking things that you would have maybe in a factory. So if you are going to do some ephemera, those are just absolutely wonderful. A lovely travel spread here, just looks gorgeous with a nice calm clear sky. Christmas baubles which you could fussy cut out. I love the shading on these baubles. They do look almost glass-like, and that's quite hard to achieve when you're doing watercolors. Okay, so here are some of the ideas of different things that you could do from around the world. I know the Scandinavian countries do a lot of these finely decorated biscuits to make as a wreath. Yeah, they've dipped dates in chocolate. You've got lovely little star biscuits here, little reindeer cupcakes, little strung out gingerbread biscuits. Oh, I must tell you this. This was so funny. When my children were small, we really couldn't afford to buy an awful lot. My husband had just been made redundant. And so I decided that year that we would bake Christmas biscuits and decorate them, and that would be the Christmas decorations. And we came down on Christmas morning, and there was nothing up to a certain level on the tree. I mean, it was all gone. And my children weren't that small, you know, I mean, they're maybe about 9 or so. So I said, had anybody eaten the biscuits? And they said no. And later in the day when we were walking through the garden, I had a look, and there were some very, very, very tinsely bits in my dog's droppings, which I wasn't very pleased to find, because he'd had a lovely feast all night. Bless him. Anyway, this is a lovely spirit. This is just singing to me at the moment. Starting off a little field journal. I want to do another one with nature. I work in nature, and so this just really speaks to my heart. We've got this lovely enlarged text at the back here. Lovely photograph of an owl, lovely line drawings of feathers, and then you've got these lovely illustrations as well. So I will definitely be making use of these in a journal not too far from now. Lovely things to do with various Christmassy themes, pine cones to be used, stringing up dried oranges and apples for the birds. And you can also make those lovely pomandos where you take an orange and you push cloves in. Those smell amazing for a long period of time and really give you a nice festive feel. Background pages here. I do find the text here makes really nice backgrounds if I'm doing ephemera. And then here you've got a whole lot of little stickers. So this is a pull out, and it is adhesive, so you've got little stickers that you could use for gifts that you're making. Saves you a whole lot, but you could also cut these out if you wanted to. Got a nice little Christmas tree here. So this is somebody else's home that's been decorated, such a completely different style, but again very tasteful and using just a lot of natural materials around the home, bringing in the reds from the berries. Love the little shed there, I really do. These little pictures of people singing carols, the carol sheets and things would make beautiful little tags. You could do a giant stamp almost, vintage postage stamp. And here you get some lovely decorations. I love this wall behind here, just absolutely adore it. So I would definitely see myself being able to incorporate some of these bluey colors into a piece of ephemera. Sorry, new pages, they don't want to lie flat, do they? And then these pages where you've got the ads for upcoming Daphne's diaries and calendars and things always give you lots that you can cut out and use. Love the little robins. The robin pops up quite often. This is a lovely little background here, reminiscent of embroidery and beautiful. Right, these would make lovely little book covers. So if you're doing little miniature books to go into a tuck spot, that would be great. Lovely little things of gooseberries. This is a gooseberry that I would know as a Cape gooseberry, but the gooseberries that we grow at work, they don't look like this. They're quite hard and they're on very thorny plants, whereas these ones that we grew in South Africa were very woody and really sweet. I mean, they were gorgeous, but I had to always leave some for the birds. This is a little insert. It's got all the little nutcrackers on there, and then a giant postcard on the other side. If you wanted to have some fun, you could cut out pieces of fabric or paper and cover these different dresses if you wanted to do something a little bit different and put them onto a face, maybe a photograph of somebody. It could be quite a nice way to decorate. There's an artist who's got an unusual style of making silk flowers 3D by using, I would imagine, some kind of fabric stiffener or a texture paste and using their paints on top of it. Really gorgeous. Not everybody's cup of tea, but a lot of work nevertheless, and very realistic. Lots of little images here that just bring special moments. A lovely bed for a child here made with some old doors, little birdhouse, little owls. Clever people in this world. That's why we love things like Pinterest, don't we? Little walnut shells, just beautiful. And I remember my gran telling me that during the war years, when my grandfather had come to the UK, he was an engineer in South Africa, and he came to the UK to Luton as an aircraft engineer, and she didn't have any money, and she made a little hinged walnut like that for my mom, and she put a tiny little doll that she'd made inside it as her Christmas present. And I know my mom spoke about that doll quite a lot. It was obviously something that she marveled at, being so tiny, but it is a nice way to put a small little gift like a ring or something. Using fabric often works out cheaper than using gift wrap, and then somebody's got something beautiful that they can use afterwards. So I belong to a quilting guild in South Africa, and we used to wrap presents in fabric always, because at least we would use the fabric afterwards. Lovely cakes and things, and again some of your mistletoes and hollies and ivies popping up through these pages. Just some ideas for foodstuffs and really intricate. I do admire people that enjoy being in the kitchen. I admire you greatly. Take my hat off to you, because I don't know, I don't excel there. I can do basic home cooking, but I'm not very good with anything fancy. Alright, lovely little bird images here, and save these kind of strips maybe even for Valentine. It'll be just around the corner, but they're lovely hearts on those. Some fun images here, and lovely little cheeky Robin with his Christmas hat on. Here's a nice giant postage stamp. I think this particular issue is just jam-packed full of things. Lots of images here which you could colour and cut out if you wanted to. And look at this cheeky cat. A little while ago there was a giraffe. Really liked him, but I like the cat just as much. This is needle felting, and I did talk about it a while ago in one of my previous flip-throughs. And it is where raw wool has been dyed and carded and coloured, and then woven together into either sheets of fabric, maybe like that, or whether you use these needles, which are unbelievably sharp because they've got a little barb at the end, and then you just poke through to make the fibers stick, and you can do incredible things with that. A lot of patience for that. Christmas markets, oh, love them, don't we? Just love Christmas markets. This is really a nice way to use an image. Put a bit of paint splatters on there to make it look like snow falling. And this issue has a few images relating to time, so that's rather nice, because you've got the clocks and the mechanisms which aren't specifically Christmas, but you would be able to use for something else. This is the lovely cake, I thought, which has the star in the middle, and what a nice idea to make pasta in just different Christmas shapes. really fun. And then these are just pop-out cards. You'll find these pop out really easily. They are perforated, and you've got them as little greeting cards on that side, and later on you'll find that there are little envelopes for them. So that's what they look like when they've all been assembled. Work is done for you. All you have to do is write a message. How lovely is that? Lovely golds and things on these backgrounds for ephemera. And if you wanted to, and you had enough photographs, you could cut out these little images of animals and maybe put some of your own on a line, or just this would give you an idea of something that you could do for Christmas. Instead of hanging up Christmas cards, put up your family photographs. Why not? Look at these cuties. Right, nice old clock face. Actually, this reminds me of when we did the show Amadeus. I did costumes for that show, and we used to have to sort out the wigs that were huge on that day, but the costumes were much fuller than that particular one. Just as a flashback there, sorry. Doesn't mean much to you, but it did to me. Right, some nice ideas of how you could make your own chocolate bombs. What a nice idea for making as a Christmas present for someone. Make a whole lot of chocolate bombs. Somebody does flower crafts. Really beautiful to be able to dry your flowers and preserve them and use them later on in life. These are place holders, but I quite like these trees, so I might be inclined to just back them on card and use them just to hang up in a window perhaps, or maybe on a bathroom door. You've got this lovely little mindfulness colouring, which I think, you know, most of the times I don't do the colouring because I just don't have enough time, but that one looks fun. I might do it. The only thing said is that on the other side there's something I'd like to use as well, so I might need to make a copy of that. This is the poster that's in the issue this year. So let me try and show you. We'll start at the top. It's got quite a lot of snowflakey things, lots of leaves and petals and berries, and then this cute little fox with a robin and the bowls. So as a poster I probably wouldn't use it, but I would certainly use pieces, cut out sections and make that work. I think, you know, when you do junk journaling and stuff like that, or collage or card making, you do look at these things differently. So that's that. On this side here there are so many little bits and pieces that I would use. I would probably fussy cut most of these things and pop them in my box for when I'm doing something. That's the Daphne's Diary Advent Calendar, which is really beautiful, but you've got lovely images here that you can use again. What a fun issue. Little hedgehog house. We've got hedgehog homes at work, but I actually have yet to see a hedgehog. I've seen plenty of foxes. Haven't seen a badger, although there's evidence of them every day digging up where I work, and we've got a wildlife camera, so I see them on that, but I haven't seen them in real life. But I like that little hedgehog, really nice. And I think that this background with all these leaves I would colour and maybe make tags or something out of them, just like that maybe. I think that could be quite fun. These are the envelopes for those cards that I mentioned earlier, and because they are quite easy to fold over and they've got that decorative edge, that scalloped edge, I'm inclined to say, why not cut it out, trace it onto a piece of thick card that you could use as a template before you actually use it as an envelope per se. Look at this sweet little mice. So you've got 3 of those with lovely backgrounds as well. Really nice. Here's some lovely books and things that you could use. Also make nice covers for small little books for tuck spots. And that's it. Next issue out on the 9th of January and the year will be done. Thank you so much for joining me. I am delighted to be able to have shared this with you, and I just pray that you will actually have a really blessed Christmas. Bye for now.